excited to have Mel Deane on our Talking with Titans today. So Mel, thank you so much for joining us. For anyone who doesn't follow Mel Deane on Instagram, you have to. If you're looking for someone to brighten your day, lift the spirits, he's the man to do it. So Mel, obviously you're a Kinetica ambassador. Tell us a little bit about yourself, starting back from obviously growing up in Ireland, making the move over to the UK, your rugby career, and obviously your current career.
And keep it short.
Yes. Yeah. 60 seconds.
Yes, I grew up in Longford in the Midlands. I played rugby from 7 to 12. I grew up in the latter part of my childhood in London, so out near Watford, and played rugby at Ruislip and then Wasps as a youngster. So from 16 to 21, I was at Wasps around a lot of good players, and I think that maybe that rubbed off on me a bit. And then I played as a full-time rugby player with Richmond, with Connacht, with Sale Sharks and Harlequins over 13 years, and then went into PTing, and I've been PTing since then. So 11 years.
I mean, obviously we're partners with Connacht now, so we obviously have a grow for Connacht, but the difference between the various different teams like Harlequins and then going back to Ireland and playing for Connacht.
Every chapter of my life was in every club, if you know what I mean. I didn't have nippers initially. First, as a professional, there was money in the game initially. It's like, oh my God, playing rugby and getting paid for this, for the crack. You know, it was unbelievable. That was terrific. And then up at Sale, when Jason Robinson and Apollo Parolini came across from the Rugby League, that was great. Everybody was really interested in Sale then. And actually, the first the game at the Medeski Stadium, that's a day I'd remember, with the half fake grass and proper grass, was Richmond against Newcastle. And Rob Andrew was playing, and all the Newcastle money people, and then all the money that was put into Richmond with Ben Clark and the Quinnell boys and all that. That was a really great one to remember, as I was only a young professional then.
With every career high, there's always a low here and there.
Yes.
Did you have many career lows when you were playing rugby professionally, and can you tell us about one of those times maybe?
Yes, obviously there was lows when you're not getting picked or you're not playing. That's why I left Sale at the time. I played against London Irish on a Sky game, and I got man of the match for the Sky game, and then I wasn't picked for the next game, but they were swapping myself, and I was fairly angry about it, and I drilled my elbow through a wall. It wasn't a brick wall. I wasn't.
You weren't that strong.
But I went through the wall, and my elbow went out the far side, and it hit a whole load of files on top of a cabinet that all landed on Phil Winstanley, who was one of the people working in the office. He thought the place was like coming down. But I think that was Jim Mallender was the coach at the time. I think he wanted someone to have, if everyone had that much passion to play and be that pissed off if they were dropped, he said, but that'd be a good thing to have. But anyway, because that happened, I ended up going to Quins. They wanted a centre down there because they weren't going so well, and I settled into Quins nicely. Great team, loved that. There was a whole lot of Irish boys landed that year. Oh, it was a great time, really good time. But that was a separate time. Then I started having a family, and then when I was in Connacht, the last stint, my last 2 years as a professional, I had my 2 girls, and it was, every club is a great chapter, if you know what I mean. But not getting picked as a player is a real drag. I mean, that is an absolute ache, to say the least.
And I suppose that's one of the things. I think pretty much everyone, it doesn't matter if you're in sport or not in sport, in the last year there's been so many lows. And besides putting your elbow through a wall, are there ways that you managed to overcome some of those lows that I suppose you'd share as a way of learning?
Aside from that, would be obviously training is my thing. Before I was a professional, I trained like a professional. If you push yourself hard, nothing in the day is going to be as hard as that. If you really put yourself in a hole, people that don't go, they go training. Yeah, I was on the cross train, and I did 10 here and 10 there, and I did my 30 minutes. No, not that shite. No, not that one. I mean, when you go and you train, you put yourself in a horrible place. Things won't be as bad as that in the day, because the only thing you're thinking of next is, where am I going to get my next breath? I won't be able to do another rep. Or if you put yourself in that much of a hole, people very rarely dip into that reserve. That as a human, you have that reserve. For me, anyway, I was train hard and you're going to feel better at the end of it. And always my outlet was physicality.
Yeah. In terms of your current career, how did you land yourself there? And I suppose a follow-up question to that is, and I'd be curious to know if you've been in the situation from the other side of things. Anytime I've ever gone to a trainer, if I've needed that extra push to get to whatever my goal is, I end up having this relationship with my trainer where I tell them everything. And I don't know if it's because you're feeling vulnerable, because you're pushing yourself so hard, that they end up knowing more about my life than I tell to my friends. Are you ever in that situation with clients?
Yeah, I'm an agony aunt. Obviously, I try to make people laugh, and I'm not trying to. Well, it depends what the client is, but generally, 90% of the time, I'm not trying to make you a champion there and then. But if you come in and you work hard, you're going to go out feeling better, and that's my job, to make them good when they're leaving, whether their guns are pumped or not. I want them to feel better leaving, and then they'll come back. I've said it to a few people that have asked, what's the thing that you would tell a trainer? What does another trainer need to know? The most simple question of how are you today? And it's how you can gauge the response, whether it's middling, I'm up, or I'm down, whether you can drill them, whether you can pull the session, or it's basically like a laughter session and a few curls for the girls. I think that's the fine line. If you're going to be a good PT, know your client. If I put on a tune that they know that they'd like or whatever, and then they're in the groove of it, then they're lifting. But I would say that is a very important question. People's perceived rate of exertion that they're willing to push themselves on is directly correlating to how they feel. So just that simple question, how are you today? It holds you in good stead for sure.
You touched on Rio, obviously, and how you train him, and obviously we know that you work really closely with Kirsty, and we love all the stuff you do with Kirsty. You guys seem to have a great relationship. It's one thing to land a big client like that. It's another to keep them and to keep them engaged and to keep pushing them. So can you tell us a little bit about how you've managed to do that so successfully so far?
Generally, I keep clients. Yes, some come and go, but I keep the ones that want to work hard and have a great workout. And Rio, to be fair, he's obviously a professional attitude to training himself as he was as a professional. He's got great stories of himself and his dad on the bike. Yeah, you're chasing me. The dad on the bike pedaling when he was young, just running for engine. He's been training like that since day one. So he just says, how many jumps are we doing? How high are we jumping? I suppose all the PTs would probably do the same if they're looking after their clients. What do you want from? Okay, I get them strong all over, fit all over. What's the issue? Generally, fellas want to put on more muscle, less fat. Women don't want to be as fat. I keep them because I'm engaged, and if you're enthusiastic, it's infectious. And then if people want to train, then they feel good, and if they feel as good as I'm feeling when I'm fit, then job done. You
work with so many different types of people. Like you have your ladies who lift, who seem to be varying levels, but all come with the same passion, versus you have these ex-elite athletes like Rio. Is it more difficult to train someone, and it probably depends on personality too, but an elite athlete than it is the everyday person?
It depends if they have a sporting background and how they move. I forget, if I train somebody new and they don't have a sporting background, how much you have to break a movement down to get it right. And that's what I would ideally have everybody moving correctly, from breaking down a deadlift down into a high pull, and high pull to cleans and snatches and all of the Olympic lifting. If they don't have any sporting background, it's like although they have massive changes really quickly. If you have no sporting background and you start lifting, they go, oh my God, look at me, look how much I'm changing. But then it goes bang, and then it'll just go up a little bit at a time, and then it'll plateau until you start saying, what do you want? What do we start pulling the reps up in the weight, or vice versa? You're attacking your body from just different angles all the time. Just tries it. But then intensity is the key. So that's how I try and do it anyway.
And say, for example, it's probably because I'm a woman, but I'm always so intrigued by is it ladies who lift?
Ladies that lift, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, I just love watching the stories and seeing all these different people absolutely pumping it out. But what inspired that? Was it yourself, Vicky, or how did all that come about?
Just training at the club when it wasn't all COVID. I would have a ladies group that trained. It was only a Friday initially, and then on lockdown, I was like, well, everybody's at home. What if I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Will they get 3 sessions in? Exactly as you're saying, girls would look and say, oh, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. And then some would go, that's freaking far too hard. I'm not into that. I'm not doing that at all. I'm in bits. I can't sit down. I get a lot of messages from the toilet. Some say, I can't get up. You be, you know what I mean? But so it starts just simply like that. These girls go and meet each other on their own, and I have a little community there. But I like the idea with the Zooming, I get to see how they move and all that. But if it's on the live, like on a Saturday, I don't get to see anybody, and I only just get a couple of little comments, or I can't really and bounce off.
Well,
anybody.
It must be very distracting when you're wearing such short shorts anyway.
Look, everyone goes, oh my God, I can't believe. I think the socks need to come up more, don't they? Definitely.
I think so. It's trying to get very risque on those lives. In terms of a moment, and it could be client related, when you've seen like this massive progression with someone that was potentially starting on a low base from a fitness perspective, or potentially back to those rugby days that you just think, wow, that was such a special time for me.
Well, I knew when I was finishing with Connacht, but I remember thinking, this is my last game as a professional, because I knew I was going to go and be the S&C at Richmond. And I was thinking, geez, I've played a lot of games, and, I've done well. And I was like choked up thinking, shit, this is the last, no more professional.
Yeah.
More. It's like, I put a lot into that. There's a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of freaking broken bits and pieces, but for training people wise, I get pleasure every day. If I wasn't happy training people, I'd do something else.
So I have some fun would you rather questions. So for the first one, would you rather have more time or more money, and why?
I'd like to have more time, because time is a commodity that I don't have a lot of, because I train a lot of people and I give my time to people. That's actually how I need to change up me moving forward, rather than me just standing in front of someone for 1 hour every single time and they pay me for that hour and I'm here, there, I'm yours for the hour, do. I have to try and that residual income that I don't have, and that's actually what I need to have. So time would be my thing.
Love it. That's a good answer. Okay, would you rather be the strongest man on the rugby pitch or the quickest?
Quickest.
Okay, go on.
There's no answer to pay. It's a little sidestep.
So on to the next one. Would you rather be the best player on the team that always loses, or be the worst player on a team that always wins?
I'll be the worst player on the team that always wins, because I want to. Yeah. Because I want to do everything for the team. Yeah, I would look after a team rather than myself. Yeah.
So would you rather be a legendary coach or a legendary player?
Player.
Would you rather, this one is so for you, would you rather be banned from Instagram for posting a mad meme, or never post a meme again?
Oh, I'd rather be banned.
Yeah. You have the best taste in memes, like 100%. Would you rather have a 1 minute conversation with your past self or your future self?
Past self, because any bumps in the road, you would know they're coming. I think my dad gave me a terrific work ethic, and I didn't need to worry about that. And when they have bad days, the big wheel keeps turning, and you keep your head down and you'll be grand. You'll come out the other side. You stay positive and you'll get whatever you're going for.
So this is this or that question. So you have to choose this or that, right? Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Upper or lower body?
Lower.
Just so you can wear the shorts?
Yeah.
Sprints or 10K run?
Sprints. Oh, 10K. Miserable.
Motorbike or car?
Motorbike.
Train in the morning or the evening?
Morning.
Okay, this is a funny one. Ruck Inspector or Loves Contact?
Loves contact.
Squat or deadlift?
Dead.
Socks up or down?
Up. High.
And they need to go up higher. Bodybuilding or powerlifting?
Powerlifting.
A quiet night in or night out?
Each to an occasion. I mean, I don't mind a chilling evening, but then I'd like to go out now, because that's all I've been doing is staying in.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla on a protein shake. On its own, I like chocolate.
Tea or coffee?
Tea generally. Okay. Earl Grey with a little bit of milk now and again.
Earl Grey, and you're from Longford.
I know, posh.
What's going on? And Barry's all the way. Burpees or bear crawls?
And bear crawls, they're minging. Weighted bear crawls, they separate the men from the boys, I tell you.
Okay. That's the end of my this or that. Mel, thank you so much for coming on today. You're a breath of fresh air, and it was gas having the chats with you, so we really appreciate it.
No problem at all. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'll chat to you soon.
Good luck and thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye-bye.